Another course with a hole that has a par more than 5. And what happened at the doubles event, Disc Golf Pro Tour Doubles? Before we get to that, good morning, good day, good evening, whichever one it may be for you. Welcome to the Disc Golf Show. My name is Nick. This is episode 33 of the 2026 season. This show is brought to you in part by our local pro shop, Final Nine Sports. If you're in Northern California, they have 2 locations, one in Orangevale and one in Rockland. Always support local if you can. However, if you're unable to find what you're looking for at your local pro shop, we do have a remedy for that, and that is Disc Golf Deals USA. You may have heard of them. They're a sponsor of the Pro Tour. If you go to discgolfdealsusa.com/disc golf show, you can save 10% off of your entire order. Some exclusions do apply, but the majority of everything on that site, save that money while you can. As always, we do like to start off with good news and tease a little bit. We have a new course in Riga, Latvia. It is the Disc Golf Park Riga, and it is the course that has a hole with a par 6. Now, over the past few months, we've heard of courses implementing this new idea, sort of. I don't know. It's good to see that these courses are popping up, obviously, in other countries. The sport is growing. That's always fantastic to see. However, this is the 19th hole at this course. It is 1,410 feet, and it is a par 6. They will be holding, if you are from Latvia or going to be over in that area, September 4th to 6th, they will be holding the grand opening event, the Disc Golf Park Riga Cup. So go support if you happen to be over there. And my question here is, do you think this is a good thing for disc golf? Having par 6, 7, 9, 12, whatever it may be, do you think this is something that can separate us from golf a little bit more, or is it just something that is gimmicky? Or I don't know. Let me know what you think on that. I'm open to it. I'm not, as long as it's not ridiculous. Par 6 could be interesting depending on how it is designed. So I don't know. We will see. Moving on, we had the Amateur Disc Golf World Championships, the PDGA Am DGWC. And the 2 winners for that in MA1 and FA1, very cool. Ethan Hatters won MA1, and he is also currently the FJ18 title holder. So he currently has 2 titles. And as for FA1, we have Gianna Lucido, at only 13 years old, youngest to ever win the Am Disc Golf World Champions for FA1. Big shout out to her. Obviously, this is just a prediction of the future. We will be seeing that name more as we move forward. I will not be surprised, and I'm sure you won't be as well. Moving on to the biggest event that I think I was most excited for throughout this year, because not only is it new, but it seems like it would be a more fun event to watch, more enjoyable for spectators and everything. And that is the DGPT Doubles Championship at the Preserve, presented by Simon Line. They had the FPO and MPO divisions. I'll get to that as well. The first 2 rounds were best shot, so that's always fun, because you can if the first teammate throws well, the second one can go big, and those are always exciting shots to watch. But the final round, a little bit of a wrench into it, was alternate shot. So you can't save your partner. What you throw is what you throw, and you hope they throw well. So that is a very cool feature. I think that's a good idea, rather than all 3 rounds being best shot. Although that is entertaining, I think this definitely throws a little bit more technique and decision making into it, especially with who throws off what tee first, and whose abilities apply best to which holes. So as for FPO, there was a lot of lead changes throughout the 3 rounds. It did come down to the wire with final round being, I believe, Holland's team led out the gate, but it did switch up. And then final round came down to the very, very end. A couple short putts were missed by Katrina and Saarinen, the Alan Saarinen team. And the final hole 18, Katrina had a putt probably around, surprisingly, probably around like 20 at most, 20 feet. And she just came up a little bit short. You could see the extension wasn't there in the putt, and ended up allowing Own and, oh, now I'm blanking, Own's team to do a playoff, which was exciting, right? So it went to a playoff, and Own had a short putt. First hole of the playoff. Came up a little bit high, hit the top of the cage, and allowed Katrina and Saarinen to make that tap-in putt for the win. So the first ever doubles Pro Tour event goes to Katrina and Saarinen. Big shout out to them. Even through the ups and downs, they were able to get that victory. Moving on to MPO, we had a kind of a shock in the first round. Not really shock. Obviously, a lot of these players are throw very well, and you know, if they get hot, they get hot. And some teams just mesh well. And in this case, that was it. Lucas Hess and Jesse Longenecker shoot the hot round in first round and lead by 1. So those are some newer names to most, but on the tour, those are some known names. But either way, second round, the Robinson Bros shot a 17 under to push into the lead by 1 over Gannon and Calvin. So Gannon and Calvin were the favorites. Everybody thought, you know, hey, Gannon and Calvin are going to smash this. They're just going to dominate. But though they did well, they were not just clearing out from the field. They were not separating themselves. And it showed. But in the end, round 3, shooting a 10 under, coming back from the third card, which on these cards was interesting. They had 3 teams in the final round. So there were 6 people on the card, obviously 3 teams of 2. And this came from the third card, which means that's 7th, 8th, or 9th place, possibly tied place. But coming from the third card, Ham and Legs, Ricky and Adam take the win by 3 strokes over Babcock and Antla, which also had a decent final round. And yeah, the lead card or the chase card were unable to play well in that alternate shot, which again made it very interesting. It was a lot closer race in both FPO and MPO, probably than most people thought. But it was very entertaining, very exciting. Definitely, I'm sure they'll probably make some tweaks moving forward. I do hope this continues on the tour. I really hope this doesn't go by the wayside, and I hope it stays as a main event, showcase event, because super fun to watch. And again, down the final rounds, it was very entertaining, and it ended up proving to be a very, very good event. Not only that, there were several aces during this event. We had one make it to SportsCenter Top 10, and that was Ricky Wysocki's ace. And they called, well, one of them. I did see both. Somebody calling him Ricky. However, I did see somebody calling him Ryan. He did comment on that, saying it doesn't matter to him as long as it's being showcased on that level of media. So very, very cool to see. Always fun to see disc golf highlighted on SportsCenter Top 10. And yeah, let me know. Do you think that this? Do you hope this comes back in 2027? I definitely do. I think one thing that could be in effect too, maybe as a separate doubles event, is mixed doubles. So MPO player, FPO player teams. I think we've seen that in the past at some events, not tour events, but Maybe that's something that they try out as well. That would definitely be interesting. But I definitely hope they keep this moving into 2027. I did have a personal question. Moving on from that. Congrats to the FPO and MPO winners at the doubles event at the Preserve. Beautiful, beautiful property. Moving on. Why does it seem like there are certain disc golf pages that don't want to help promote other disc golf pages or companies? I'm not going to name names or anything like that. I try to put this show out on different pages, and sometimes it gets denied. I don't know why. Obviously, there are certain pages that are specific for certain things. Those I don't really put on, but club pages, things like that, I try to share this via those, and sometimes they just get denied. My question is, aren't we supposed to be helping lift each other up? Aren't we supposed to be helping grow? I think that what I put out is good and helpful to people, but for whatever reason, I'm do my best to not take things personally, but sometimes it makes me question things as to why. What's the purpose? It doesn't hurt anything. It gets some information out there to the club, whether it's specifically applicable to the club or not. Now, if that's the issue, I get it. But, getting information out in general, I don't think is a bad thing. And I get that certain people can make whatever rules they want for their pages. So it's not something that I'm, torn up about. It's just something I thought I'd put out there and ask, why do you think certain pages limit the posts that can be made on them? Is it specifically club? Do you think that's the main reason? Is it specifically brand? Obviously, I get that. Either way, let's move on. 2027 Disc Golf Pro Tour events have started to be announced. The first few that I've seen are such. March 12th to 14th, looks like the tour starting earlier. The Supreme Flight Open takes the first event place. Always fun to watch that course. Very exciting. The terrain is amazing. The elevation changes are great. So always excited to see that on the docket. And then also, Big Easy Open is back. March 19th to 21st. So what changes will be implemented? Very curious to see that. Very curious to see if the fairways are the same, if they've moved some things, if they've removed some trees maybe. I don't know, but I'm definitely curious as to see if there are any changes that have been applied to next year's event. But yeah, we're starting to see 2027 come down the pipeline. Related to that is the Supreme Flight Open, because Ledgestone has struck a 3-year deal with the Disc Golf Pro Tour for 3 events, obviously one being Supreme Flight Open. The other 2 are in August 5th to 8th, the Ledgestone Open will be back for the next 3 years, and August 26th to 29th, DGLO, Discraft Great Lakes Open, will be included in the tour for the upcoming 3 years. Always good to see. Those are all great events, and I'm not surprised. Moving on, we have another race. We have recently discussed Ricky coming up on that $1 million career earnings purse pot record. And as for FPO, they're coming up on the $500,000 mark. And that battle is mainly between Paige, Missy, and Own. Paige is just about $25,000 short of that $500,000 mark. Missy's only about $10,000 back of her, and we know her. She's growing that count quickly. And Own is a good chunk behind Paige by about 54,000. So who will hit that? Will somebody surpass Paige before she hits that $500,000 mark? I don't know. Maybe. We will see. And we know Silva's making runs lately the past couple of years. So I don't know. Who do you think will hit that $500,000 mark for career earnings first in FPO. Let me know below. And then as for the most exciting part of news, the Silas Schultz watch, he had a great couple first rounds. They were on lead card in the final round because of those first couple rounds at doubles. And him and Ty Love did well, but that final alternate round, they just could not sync up well. They did fall down a little bit, but it didn't hit him too hard. So as for the DGPT standings for Silas, he just dropped from 12th to 13th. So I still think it's fantastic. He's doing very well, very consistent, and being in the top 15 for him, I think is fantastic. Again, if you want to follow your favorite player or players and you want to see how they are doing in the standings, we'll have that link down below. Moving on, that brings us to the question of the episode. Which is more enjoyable to you to play or watch? Is it the same? Is it different depending on you're playing or watching? Which is more enjoyable, singles or doubles events? Do you like to play singles or doubles more? Do you like to watch? Now that we've seen one on the Pro Tour, what do you think? Let me know your opinion on that down below. Before we move on to gear and equipment, guys, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, the link, or the like, the share, the notifications, all the goods. It really does help. You may not think so, but it definitely does. Every little bit does help. And moving on to gear and equipment. This segment is brought to you by Disc Golf Deals USA. As always, go to discgolfdealsusa.com/discgolfshow. Get 10% off of your entire order. Some exclusions do apply, but big ticket items, bags, carts, large disc orders, baskets, get a practice basket. Save that 10%. We didn't have any PDGA approved discs this last week. So we'll just move on to recent upcoming releases. And that wasn't very large either. The biggest of note is MVP has announced their Halloween Team Series discs. These are always awesome, cool stamps that they put out on their Team Series. And they're not coming up short at all this year. As for Jeremy Colling, he has the Eclipse Control. He has a gross like looking fly stamp instead of his dragonfly stamp that he's had in the past. James Conrad has the Particle Proton Trail, and in the Bendy James stamp, he has a James like a mummy, Bendy mummy stamp, which is cool. As for Simon Lizotte, he has the Eclipse Aspect, and instead of his Boca Latte stamp, he has a Witch's Brew Cauldron. Very cool. I like all the twists that they've done on these stamps. Eagle McMahon has the Eclipse Ascend, and he has a creepy version of his Wind Dragon stamp. And then Silva Saarinen has the Eclipse Echo. And instead of her flower stamp, yin yang flowers, she has like a little shop of hoarders, fly trap stamp. Very, very cool. Always excited to see their renditions of these. And you can get these where? At Disc Golf Deals USA. If you do want to check out what's coming down the pipeline, you can go to Disc Golf Deals USA at the top and go to the Drops tab, and you can see their release calendar, and they have a coming this week section, coming this month, and on the horizon sections. Always good to stay on top of those. Last but not least, for your gear and equipment, most important item in your collection, your shoes. Big shout out to Ideo Sports and Vessi. They are big supporters of disc golf. So depending on your personal preference of style, they are both waterproof, lightweight shoes. The biggest difference really is not only style, but the rake of the sole. Ideo Sports have closer to a zero style sole, so much more flat. But yeah, check those links out down below. Let me know which one you lean towards, which one's your favorite. They do have high tops, low tops, so check those out. Ideo Sports low tops is the Syncrasy, and their high tops are the Brawler. And as for Vessi, they've got a multitude of shoes. So go check those out. Let me know down below. It brings us to the upcoming events. As for the upcoming events, we're nearing the end of the season here, guys. There's only about 7 major / DGPT events coming, 2 Euro Tour events, 1 Jomez Pro Series, I think it's their finale, and 4 Go Throw events coming up. I know it sounds like a decent amount, but they will fly by quickly. And I'll just give you the next few coming up. August 26th to 30th, big event, the 2026 PDJ Pro Worlds Championship presented by First Form. It is a PDJ major held in Milford, Michigan. And that is starting basically this week. They're having a whole 14 days moving up to the event thing. So go follow their socials. September 4th to 6th, the 2026 LWS Open at Idlewild, presented by Dynamic Discs and the Natty. That is a DGPT event held in Burlington, Kentucky. And I'll hold off on some of the others. There are a little ways out, but I do have them listed here. I'll throw in the September 11th to 13th, the 2026 Go Throw Tour Championship at AGA Farms, obviously Go Throw event in Perkasie, Pennsylvania. And then obviously we want to promote the Global, September 19th. This is a Paul Macbeth Foundation event. It is an event where you can participate or TD. If you want a TD, check the link below. If there's one not in your area, definitely, if you have TD'd something before, or if you want your first event, this is a kind of a turnkey event. They will help you significantly to where it's pretty easy for you to run. But it's a worldwide event. You play your course, your event, and you are ranked worldwide. So they do all the back end of ranking versus course and round rankings and all that good stuff. First year for it. I'm super excited to see how it goes. But yeah, if there's not one in your area, check the link below and hold one because it's coming up soon. That brings us to the mailbag, where we give you some products and videos to consume or check out. If you've already consumed them, I get it. Check them out again. If you haven't, definitely take a look. As for the product, it's a little bit different. I am doing a shout out basically for Anthem Disc Golf. He's recently announced a few different projects that he's taken on. First thing being, big shout out to him. He does a lot of media for a lot of companies, Ledgestone, the Pro Tour, most significantly, and other businesses out there. Does some great visual work, videos, editing, all that good stuff. Go check him out. He had recently announced the DG Pocket Coach. So the link for that will be down below, where you can compare your run-up to pros, because he has video of pros run-ups, and you can see what the difference is, maybe where you can improve, all that good stuff. And the most recent thing that he's announced is Anthem, A-N-T-H-M. And it's, I believe on Instagram it's Anthem House, but it is a premium sports apparel line coming soon. I'm super excited about this. I'll have the link to his Instagram down below. But the last time I was excited about this, I love, gear, hats, clothes, all that stuff. Was Dude Clothing. Still a big fan of Dude Clothing, though they aren't as prominent at all, but I'm super excited and I will keep you updated as to how Anthem, A-N-T-H-M, grows, and once they're released and all that stuff comes out, I will let you know more about that. As for video, I'm going very different this time. Something not disc golf related, and that is something that I have been turned on to by my kids. Mainly Minecraft videos. Fun to watch. There are several channels that you can watch. I don't know. Let me know of non-disc golf channels, videos that you've seen that you like, that maybe you consume and when you're not watching disc golf stuff. But I'm just going to do some shout outs here. Some big names within this community. And that is Shadow Mech, my personal favorite, Forge Labs, Unsorted Guy, and OK Robert. They're kind of like a group, and they also include other people. There's a bunch of other players out there that they play games with and do videos with. But those are the big four for me. Again, Shadow Mech, Forge Labs, Unsorted Guy, and OK Robert. If you're into watching some fun videos when it comes to Minecraft, definitely check them out if you haven't. Brings us to the end of the show, guys. I really appreciate it. This is where we give you some ways you can save some funds. First being Upper Park Disc Golf. If you're in the market for a bag, go check out upperparkdiscgolf.com, use code discgolfshow, save some funds there. If you're looking for some gear, some stuff to wear for events, right now go to bucketsdg.com. If you use code discgolfshow, you can get 10% off there. Long sleeves, short sleeves, very lightweight, breathable clothing, very comfortable. Check them out. And then, as always, Disc Golf Deals USA. Go to discgolfdealsusa.com/discgolfshow. Save 10% off of your entire order. Some exclusions do apply, but large orders, that 10% adds up. Get yourself a practice basket, a new cart, new bags, a stack of practice putters. Save that 10%. And last but not least, our local pro shop, Final Nine Sports. Always support local if you can. If you're in Northern California, Sacramento area, they have 2 locations, one in Orangevale and one in Rockland. Always support local. If you do have any items you'd like me to include in an upcoming episode, shoot me an email, discgolfshow@gmail.com. More than happy to include those. I love spreading the word. And yeah, hit that subscribe button, the like button, share, notifications, all the goods. It really, really does help, more than you may know. I hope you have a blessed day, and I will see you next week.